Greetings and salutations, friends, and welcome to a very quick look at creating a grass foliage element for Unreal Engine 4. I've been playing with SpeedTree. I've done a lot of work with Cinema 4D, and I had SpeedTree laying around. So I thought, you know what? I'll try and create some stuff in SpeedTree. No, that doesn't work. Not with SpeedTree Cinema. You have to subscribe to the separate Unreal Engine version of SpeedTree, which is another payment. At which point I said, nope, let's try this a different way. So, here I am. The first thing I want to do is locate myself a good texture. So, I'm going to go here, open, oh look, textures. We're going to be working in this directory here, which is completely empty, just so you know. Alright, so the first thing I want to do is find some decent textures. Let's see. I could do the billboard grass. Yeah, you know what? Or I could do this guy here. That's a nice tall one. Or I could do this guy here. We'll go with that guy. So first of all, we're going to open our picture. Alright, so this is going to be the piece of grass that we are going to work with. The first thing I want to do is make sure I've got it set up. Hang on. For the right image size. I want 1024 by 1024. Right. And we will zoom out a little bit. Okay, and that's blurred it a little bit, so let's sharpen it. Okay, let's sharpen it a bit more. Alright, that's mildly better. Right. We need to get... Actually, do we? If I save this as a PNG like this, it will work. But I do need to actually make sure I have another version of this that has an alpha channel. So the easiest way to create an alpha channel that I have discovered, or that I am used to, is actually a better option, is to create myself two new layers. This one, I am just going to use the color overlay and make it white. Bingo. Like that. Oh! Huh. Helps if I push the right button. Okay. Okay, so now we have our outline in white. Now we need our black, so we are going to click on this to revert it to black. Grab our paint bucket, make sure we select in the background, fill the background, and I'm gonna right click and merge visible, and select all, copy. I'm gonna come into channels, I'm gonna create my alpha, I'm gonna paste, bingo, that's my alpha done, and then just deselect that. I'm trying not to use a shortcut so you can see where my mouse is going. Alright, so now I have my alpha. And I have my outside layer. This one I can now get rid of, actually. Right, so now I've got my piece of grass and I've got my picture with an alpha texture just in case I need it. So, now I'm going to save this. Save as, and I'm going to take this and put it into grass 1. So this first one, I don't want to save layers, but I do want to save the alpha. So we'll call this, I don't know, grass 1 tiff. Right, hang on, I've got an itch. Okay. And now we'll save it again. Oh, wait a minute. Ha! Oops. This pops up. No compression, discard layers, blah blah blah. Now I'm going to save it again. This time I'm going to save it as a PNG. Oh god, I've got to send back there again. Alright. So now I'm going to save it as grass 1 PNG. grass 1 PNG. And the reason I put the file title at the end is because if you have 3 files with the same name, it gets very tricky when you try and import them. Anytime you want to import something into UE4, it has to have a unique name. You can't just go by the file type at the end. Okay? Yes? No? Maybe so? Right. Right. No compression. I don't care about interlace. Right, so that is my texture acquired. So now I'm going to come into Blender. I'm going to right click on him, kill him, right click on him, kill him, right click on him, and kill him. Ruthless, huh? I need to create myself a plane. Right, so now I have a nice... Whoops. Escape. If you accidentally find yourself dragging stuff around, just don't let go of the mouse, just hit escape and it'll return it back to whence you picked it up. Right, so I'm going to open a second window. Switch this to the UV map editor. Excellent. I want to go to this one here. I actually want to select the plane, select the face, press U, and then select unwrap. Bling! So that is now my unwrap section right there. That whole section there that is selected is where my unwrap is going to be. So let me add in an image just to make sure that I've got this in the right place. Textures. We'll go with a texture that we have just created. I think I can use a PNG. Open. Okay, so that's how it's going to fit. And that's how it's going to fit there. So now I'm going to go to object mode. And now I'm going to go to texture. And we can see our texture is now applied to our plane. Now, you don't have to do this bit, but I'm going to just as a quick example of what's going on. I'm going to save this. Actually, I'm going to export it as an FBX into, for the love of Pete, okay, into textures. Boop, boop. And this is going to be grass 1 test. Grass 1 UV test. Right. Export. Alright. That was easy enough. So now what I want to do is load this into Unreal and make sure that it's actually got the correct UV mapping. Right. So it's in grass 1. Okay, let's take this. We will drag and drop it. Wait for a moment and then let go. And I'm going to make sure that I replace the oh, I forgot to do the vertex coloring. Oh, that's the next step anyway. I don't need to worry about that. I don't need to worry about any of this, to be quite honest. I just want to make sure that the normals are correct. So I've got the normals enabled. Actually, hang on. Enable this option. Okay, yeah, okay. We're going to do that, and that's pretty much it, to be honest. I always try and import as foliage, just to be sure of what I'm doing. So I'm going to hit import. There's no blaring error messages. Oops. Whoop. Alright, so there's our plane with that on it. Let's make sure that our texture is going to display properly. Now, luckily I have one already set to go, this grass 2 mat. So I'm just going to drag that in here. Alright, so we can see that our texture is actually applying properly to our plane. That's great. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is delete that from here. Where you at? There it is. Yes. And we are going to go back into Blender for the next bit. Right, now we're in Blender. Again, as if you couldn't tell. Now our next job is to look straight down on our plane. And I'm going to go to tools, I want to select the edge. Hang on a minute. This always takes me a minute. Stick it back in edit mode. I want to grab the edge select. I want that edge, and I'm going to hold down, I think it's shift, and that edge. And I want to subdivide. And I'm going to subdivide these 3 times, like that. Easy, huh? Now I need to go across as well, because this will give me left and right. You know, this is subdividing it so it can sway that way and that way. But if it goes forwards and backwards, there's no way for it to bend. It can just bend side to side. So we are going to select that side, and that side, and that side, and that side, and that side. And now, hang on a minute. And now I'm going to subdivide that one. I think I'm going to subdivide it by 3. And that should be good. So we now go back into object mode. Right, so we've got a 3x4. It's not going to be brilliant, but for this, it's going to work out fine. So the next thing is to paint the vertices. Right, so the next thing we need to do is paint the vertices. This is very, very important. If you want your grass to wave about in Unreal Engine, you need to paint the vertices. Actually, technically you don't. If you want your grass to wave about in Unreal, you don't need to paint the vertices. It's going to wave about everywhere. Like the whole thing is going to like flap around like some kind of flappy thing. We don't really want that. We want the bottom of our grass to stay put. We don't want this bit to go flying off or pretending that, you know, it's being blasted by the wind. We want this bit to stay put, but we want the top section here to be able to move around. And the way we accomplish that is to paint the vertices. The application we're going to be using is going to be looking for green. The greener the vertices? Yeah, the greener the vertex, the more movement it can get. The darker the vertex, or the blacker, the less. So what we want to do is paint the bottom black so it doesn't move around. Basically we're anchoring it with black. And then the top we want to paint bright green so it can flap around like some kind of flappy sign, you know, waving thingy. Right? Right. So to do that we are going to have to paint the vertices. So I'm going to go into solid so I can see what the hell I'm doing. I'm going to switch my mode to vertex paint. I'm going to select black by sliding this all the way down, and there's my little paint tool, and I'm just going to paint these bottom vertices here black, like this. Right? Right. Now I'm going to slide it all the way up, slide it all the way over. I'm going to paint these top ones bright green, like that. Now I'm going to lower this down, and I'm going to paint the middle one because I've only got split the vertical into 3, so I've got another set of vertices here and another one here. So I'm going to bring this down 1/4, and I'm going to bring it down another 1/4 and go like that. And that is our vertices painted. Now I can go back to texture and it looks perfectly normal. And if I go back into vertex paint, hang on, if I go back into solid, it's all pretty and green. Now I'm going to save it. Just so nothing terrible happens. So this is going to be grass 1 blend. Grass 1. Save. Right. Now I'm going to go back into texture. This is where things get interesting. I'm going to go into object mode. Now we've done that, what we need to do is A, stand it up, and B, multiply it. Right, so let's stand this thing up, and then we can do our next bit here. Can't remember how to stand it up now. Oh, yes. R to rotate, X along the X-axis, and Control to lock it into so it snaps. So down there in the bottom left, you can see the rotational number reading out. I want to get that to 90, like that. Whoop. Yeah, and then click. All right. And now, of course, it's sticking through the floor, so I'm going to lift it up so it's aligning to the floor, and I'm going to lift it up so the bottom of the texture is sitting right there. Okay. So that is our first square. Now the fun bit. Oh, wait a minute. Yes, it is. Oh, it's actually on the center point. I didn't realize that. I was going to say, aim to get it on these two lines here. There's red one and this yellow one. That way it's like dead center in the origin. Okay? When you import it, rather. Mm-hmm. Okay, so now I'm going to go look straight down at it. I'm going to look down upon it as if it was some kind of inferior object. Now I'm going to duplicate it. Oh, hey! And I'm going to move it over. I'm going to let go, and I'm going to rotate it along the Z-axis. And I'm going to hold down Control so I get that snap. And I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees. And then click. And I'm going to drag it over. So it is intersecting my other one like that. Oh, this is starting to look good. Move it over like that. So what I'm doing is making a very, very simple... this has a specific name which eludes me actually. You know, where you have two planes that cross each other to make a fake kind of 3D thingy. Yeah. But you could do whatever you wanted at this point. Now you've got these the right way up. You could, you know, you could duplicate this and have them staggered and at weird angles and all kinds of stuff. But just for this, I am going to do that cross-hatching kind of thingy, like that. So now I've got that one, and I'm going to select all of them. Okay, well, that was one way. I held down Control and just drew a circle around everything I wanted to select, in case you were wondering what happened there. Okay, hold down Control, and then you can just draw around what you want. As long as what you've got is entirely inside that highlighted area, it'll select it. Now I'm going to hit Join, because it all has to be a single thing. The only problem with this is it's going to... I don't know, actually. I haven't really tested this. You're really not supposed to have planes crossing each other like that. I just realized that. So this is, you know, unknown territory for me, and probably you too. If this fails or looks really stupid, it's because I've got these planes crossing, and what I should do is like offset them and interleave them or interweave them. But this is more of a demonstration of how to accomplish this. This is not how to actually, you know, don't go back and follow this. Go back and make your own pattern, you know. Yeah. Alright, so I'm going to now save this out, and I'm going to export this as an FBX again. And I'm going to make this grass 1. Grass 1. I'm going to export... Wait, is there a... Nope, there's no space. Alright, just make sure you don't put spaces in the thingy there. Okay, we will export that. And we are done in Blender for the moment. Right, so we've got our object exported as an FBX from Blender. We now need to get it into Unreal. So let's just drag, hold, and drop. Now, this is where things get complicated. I don't want the skeletal mesh. Under no circumstances do I want the skeletal mesh. I'm going to let it do the auto-generate. I'm going to import it as Foliage. I don't know why. I haven't actually tried any other thing. I'm just doing that because I want it in that particular LOD group, and I have a feeling that if I don't do that, it may cause issues later on. I am going to import the vertex coloring from the file. Remember, we painted it green and black. Very important. So we don't want to override that at all. Gonna have the normals probably generated. I'm not really interested in importing the materials because I'm going to replace them anyway. So let's just go ahead and we will import. Wait a minute. Let me make a new folder for this. Grass. One? Sure, why not? Alright, so, yeah, let's go ahead and we will import that here. La la la. Okay, so all this is now, yep, all that's fine. We'll hit import. No massive errors. Good, good. As we can see, we have our mesh, but it's looking a bit weird. I also want to import my grass. Come on. There we go. Alright. Now, here's the good bit. What I want to do is take the from the kite demo, from environments and foliage and grass. I want to take this blueprint, because this blueprint here in this material is what does all the work for us. It's what gives us all this wibbly wavy stuff. So I want this, and I want to be able to replace the texture. So what I'm going to do is just copy it into my other folder. So we'll go to landscape, and I'm going to go to grass 1, and I'm going to use the Explorer to do that. Now it's very important that if you're going to do that, you copy it in here. You copy it from, hang on, what I did, I go in here, and in here, and in here, and in here. Oh, that's leaves, I don't want leaves. Grass. Fill grass. Now, I want this one in here. Now, if you try and drag and drop, what you're asking it to do is take an asset that it's already imported and import it again. So it's going to flip out at you. So don't do that. Copy it, and then go drop it down where you want it. So I'm going to put it in grass 1, and I've already pasted it here, so if I paste it again, it's not going to work. But yeah, and then paste it into your destination folder that matches your project. Right, and then I'm going to rename it so I don't get too confused. This is going to be grass 1 mat. Now the reason I'm doing that is, why is this looking a bit funky? Oh, it looks fine there. Whatever. The reason I'm... Oh, let's save it. Save. And save. Right. Now the reason I'm doing that is because the blueprint for this is extremely complicated, and I do not know enough about creating these kind of blueprints yet. Later on, give me a couple of weeks, months maybe, and I'll be able to create my own blueprint, but this one is already up and running. It kind of sort of works, and I kind of sort of understand how the whole wind thing works, but it's easier to use this as a starting point and move on from there rather than just anything else. As long as you're prepared to come back and learn why it's doing what it's doing, and why it's now wibbly wavy, and why it's about to do what it's about to do. So what I'm going to do is replace the existing texture with my new one, like that. Give it a minute. And now we've got this new slightly strange wibbly wobbly texture. I'm going to hit save. I don't know how this is going to look on the model. This may look absolutely stupid, like I said. Right, so there's our new grass mat. This is where we want to put it. So, right, now you may notice that there's a face missing. That's just because I forgot to do the normals. There you go, see? All the faces are actually there. I forgot to flip the normals to two-sided from one-sided, so when you go to one side of it, it disappears. When you go back again, it reappears. Yep, that's because I was a bit quick off the mark. So I am just going to apply this texture to this, and this is where the magic happens. prepare yourself for a giggle. See what I mean about the way the faces are crossing over, and it's making the animation look a little bit funky. So yeah, what I'm going to do is just go over here and, oh my god, look, the normals are now fixed. So, you know, don't worry too much about that. But yeah, because I've got those the planes crossing over, it does look a little bit on the poopy side. If you spread them out like it was a regular piece of grass, I'm sure it would look a lot better. So now we've got that, I'm going to hit save. The aim here is to paint this. So now we've got our static mesh with its animated material. We need to create, under miscellaneous, a foliage type. And we are going to call this, I bet you can't guess, grass 1 fol for foliage. And I'm going to open it, and I'm going to drag and drop my static mesh into there. Done. Now this is where you can start having, wait, is this one? Okay, no, maybe not. I'm not going to worry about any of this because it doesn't matter at the moment. So I'm going to hit save. Now I'm going to go to the brush. No, I'm not. I'm going to go to foliage. I'm going to grab... oh, wait a minute. Ah, there you are. Grab this one. Bring it in here. So that can now be my brush. So I can select that. That's my brush I'm going to be working with. I can adjust the density, the radius, the scaling. So I don't like uniform scaling. It means that everything is the same size. So what I do is I adjust this to 0.5 and this to 1.2. That way, not... oi. Okay, let's say 0.7. That's better. I don't know why that happened. So I get a little variation in the height of the grass as I paint with it. So, whoops. Oh, whatever. Okay, so I'm going to select the grass. Okay. Figured out what I was doing wrong. I forgot to actually make it active. So, yeah. If you come in here and yeah, it's refusing to paint with your selected widget, yeah, you've actually got to hit the little checkbox here. And now your paint tool is active. So we are going to turn it down here, and we are going to paint with it. Whoa! Okay, they're a little on the large side. Okay, and that's that. And actually, you know what? They are casting a shadow too. Can't remember how do you change that. Ba-da-ba. To normal, raw pitch, height, slope, angle, blah blah blah. Cast shadow off. Random pitch. There's a way you can actually change the scale. I can't remember how, but I'll let you figure that out when you do the whole import thing. So we'll save that. So now all the shadows are gone, and that's our grass. So remember what I said, you know, that I just did the cross. If you do, you know, spend more time basically developing your pattern before you import it in here, you should get something a little better. But that's it. I'm going to go away and play with this. I will see you anon.